Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, Lorenzo here, and I really appreciate having you join me. Today is a very interesting video because, this channel just started about 3-4 weeks ago. It's very new, but I've already got quite a few concerns. Concerns is the manly way of saying fears. Yes, there are things I'm afraid of, especially as it relates to this channel. And today I'm going to talk about those things because there's really 3 things that I'm afraid of. Let's talk about it. So we'll start with the first one, which is, I think, the smallest fear, the smallest concern, but it still is a concern and a fear. Now, I don't know if you can relate, but in my life, there have been many times I get really excited about some things, and I go about doing it, and I'm really gung-ho, and I'm really all about it, and I launch really well. I make it happen, and then as time goes by, I slowly begin to fade. Now, the feeling that I'm talking about is that feeling of accomplishment when you finish what you started. It's the very opposite of that. And my greatest concern in this area is that I will start to fade away. Stop being consistent. I made a commitment that I would upload a video every Wednesday, every Saturday, and being a dad of a 1-year-old, having a full-time job in this COVID-19 world, having several other responsibilities, things that I try to do and keep up with. I must say, it's already been quite hard to meet some of my deadlines. But thank God, so far, we've managed. But that is one of my fears, continuing to keep up with it. Because the last thing I want is to slowly fade away, stop being consistent, and then just give up entirely. Because I do feel like this is something I've been called to do. And so I don't want to fail in that area. That's number one, and it is actually the smallest concern I have. So if you can imagine, the next 2 may be pretty big. Fear number 2. Fear number 2 is, I think, a huge one. It's a really big one, but it's not the worst. So when you hear it, you're going to think, what's worse than that? So fear number 2 is this, that this channel becomes popular, that these videos, they start reaching a lot of people. That what I do here, this mission that I'm on, to share the gospel, to share the word of God, and to represent Him well, and to reach as many people as possible for His glory and for the purpose of seeking and saving the lost. I'm really concerned that, should this become popular, should a lot of people begin to see these videos, and then I, am more visible and more in the public eye, and then I fail, I fall, I make a mistake, I screw up. That is a huge fear of mine. Now, I'm not afraid because I think God is going to be upset with me. I've come to the realization that as a human in the flesh, I am weak. Now, that's no excuse for just continuing to go and sin. I know my God is pleased when I'm good, and when I please Him, and so I know that it is not His will for me to go out there and sin, but at the same time, I know that I'm forgiven. I know that His grace is so sufficient for me, and I know He will not condemn me, and I can return to Him, and He calls me back to Him every single time. So it's not really a fear of condemnation from God, but it's a fear of how that would be perceived by the audience that this gets in front of, because many times we attach someone's mission, someone's vision, someone's goal, someone's purpose to who they are as a person. And let's face facts. As humans, we fall, we stumble, we falter. And the last thing I want is for that to happen and for it to ruin the image that people have of God. And for it to make people say, oh, well, you know what? There's another one of those preacher guys. And by the way, I never went to Bible school. I'm not a preacher guy. I don't think I am. But, people to say, oh, one of those preacher guys, there he went, screwed up again. Clearly, his God isn't all that powerful, or, something like that. And I don't even know where that fear comes from, but I guess I've heard of enough men of God and women of God make mistakes and how it reflects poorly on our Creator. And so that's a big fear and concern of mine. And so my prayer, and in fact all of these fears, the biggest thing I can do and that I do is I just commit them into God's hands, because really He's the only one who can help. So my thing there is, God, just guard me from temptation, keep me from evil and sin, and don't let your name be put to shame because of my shortcomings. And that is fear number 2. Fear number 3. This is the biggest one. Whenever it comes to things of God, at some point it starts diving into theology. And most importantly, it's about the truth. What is the truth? And even in the Christian circles, even among believers, people disagree about so many things and have so many different beliefs about God and about His Word. And the last thing that I want to do is spread false teaching. So the first thing I've asked God to do is correct me by His Spirit, by His Word, and even through people who might comment, through people in my life who might correct me. Just correct me and give me an open spirit so I'm willing to correct myself. Even if I say something wrong, to go back to that video, to pull that video down, or to correct it, or to add a new video to correct that, whatever. But just make sure that I'm not false in what I'm saying. And so I need His help, because I share what I believe to be true about the Word of God. But I'm not perfect. And I certainly accept the possibility that I could misread something and understand it wrongly, out of context. I certainly have done that in the past with certain scriptures. So I'm very open to being corrected, and I hope that God helps me to remain open. And more importantly, I pray that if something is really detrimental to His Word, in terms of leading people away from His truth, that He makes sure that nobody sees that, and if people see it, that it doesn't get into them, it doesn't get into their hearts, and that He only gives me influence and reach to the extent that I speak the truth. So here's me just opening up my heart and sharing my biggest fears and concerns about this channel and about what I'm doing. And my request is, if you would pray for me, for any person who's out there sharing the gospel, just pray for them, that they would be guarded against sin and temptation, and that they would be kept in God's truth, so that all they speak and declare is true and in line with God's will. And I humbly request that you pray that for me. I know I'm requesting it of people close to me in my life, and I pray it myself. So that's it, guys, today. My 3 biggest fears. Pray for me. God bless you guys. I love you all. Don't forget to like, comment and share your concerns about this. Comment and feel free to correct me in future. Subscribe so you hear more of what I share. And guys, really love you all. God bless you all. And see you on the next video.